Hey guys, okay, so I have what I'm calling part two of the Assa videos. It's not a tutorial, I'm not a teacher. I'm only showing anyone that's interested how I go about picking Assa pins. I mean, I'm not a particularly good picker. There are a lot better pickers out there than I am. I like my Assas. I put a lot of time into Assas, and this is just what I do to try and pick an Assa. This one is it's a brand new lock actually, but it's got, I believe, the old style drivers with counter milling. So it's a perfect sort of part two to the new drivers and threading that the other one was. Okay, so there is the bitting. So we've got a high 1 and 2, low 3, high 4, low 5, very low 6. Very low 6 there. Works perfectly. Like I say, it's a brand new lock. It's new lock, old stock, I think it was described as to me. A little bit of tarnish on the key. Okay. So top of the keyway, I'm going to use a Peterson 3 and a Peterson Gem. 3 because they're both 24 thousandths of an inch, by the way. Peterson 3 because I need to get to that very low pin at the back here. So number 6. Right, so as with the other video that I did, I'm going to trace the key and try and work out, I know I've got the key, but work out and get the pins as high as I can. And just not pushing, just lifting to the point where they stop, and you will find that that is a great place to start, because if you start picking some at the back and you may get one that goes really high, you may get a little turn on the core and you're going to trap some of the other ones down low, and then when you're trying to pick them you're going to get big clicks, you're going to be wondering what's going on, you can completely lose the thread of and actually not get very far with it. So trace the key. The reason these trace the key quite well, or better than like your brass pinned ones, is because they're stainless steel. So they're slippy going up and they're slippy going down. So we've got to use that slippiness to our advantage where we can. You have very strong springs in these, like you do in GGs. So that's why I think with both of those you need some tension really most of the time. So I'm going to trace the key, so to the back. Okay, so we know 6 is very low, so there's nothing happening there. Now watch the pick as I move it through the key, through the lock here. So it's gone a little bit down, still not doing anything. So just naturally the weight of my hand has lifted it, number 4 up again. There's number 3. Now it hasn't really moved up or down there because it's sort of, as it's on an angle, that's a level move outwards. And then down to 2. See, I'm not doing anything. The pick is doing it with the weight of my hand. And then number 1, we're into a false set, and I haven't actually done a thing yet. Okay, so back down to number 6. I've got a little click on that, which I would suggest is the old style driver clearing the shear line. So I would say number 6 is picked. So moving to number 5, still not doing anything, just the weight of my hand. Right, now I can feel a little bit of tension, spring tension pushing down here. It feels slightly different, so I know if I put a bit of extra weight on, I'm probably going to get a deep false set from that pin, but I'm not going to do it just yet. So there's number 3. Okay, it happened when I took my pick off and pressed number 3. But yeah, you can just sort of understand the feel when you're that close to the shear line. Okay, and 1 is a little higher than 2. I didn't see that key, but it is on the lock. Okay, yes it is actually there. So number 2 is slightly cut in, number 1 is not really cut at all. So that's corresponding with that, so that's great. Because otherwise I've got an overset or something going on. Okay, so I'm at the point now where I've traced the key out. I'm in a nice false set. Number 6 is probably set. Turn to a gem and let's have a look at the rest of them. So, where am I? 3 is there. I think that's 4. Okay, so that's the other thing, is get on the pins. Make sure you're on the pins right. You know, that you're not in a race with anyone. You want to get the thing open. I know I do when I'm picking. I'm literally, I can just be watching something on, you know, on my computer, watching one of you guys, and I'm just doing that, thinking and hoping something's going to happen, and it never will. You've got to think what's happening with these and what's going on, because otherwise they're designed to trap you and catch you out at every opportunity, and if you're not paying attention, that's exactly what's going to happen with it. So back in, so number 5 I think is set. That was my pick slipping. Okay, so I can feel something on number 4. Right. Yeah, definitely feel something. So pressure upwards and release a bit of tension. He doesn't want to set. Nothing's happening with that one. Okay, I'm going to try and avoid number 1 and 2 because they're high and they're easy to get to. So number 3. No. So what I'm doing to get these out now, and I'm probably going to have to do it on number 1 and 2, is the upward motion. There we go. Did you see the upward motion and relieve a little bit of tension? There was a bit of counter rotation and the bottom of the driver pin popped out. Try and do the same with number 1. Get on the pin properly, which is easier said than done. Okay, there we go. I believe that my pick did it. Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, okay. So that was number 1 and 2, or 2 and 1, respectively. Okay, so I'm thinking there's only 5 that's really left, but it may take more than one pass and one lot of clicks. You may find that you run out of clicks, but there will be one somewhere that'll be hanging everything up. And once you find that click, there may be one sort of extra pass through with a couple of clicks here and there that have opened up that you need to find, and then you'll find the lock will open then. So number 6. Still been unable to pick my 600 where I made it very extreme pinning, so I chose this lock, or I bought this lock as a bit of a replacement. And as well, it hasn't been adulterated by anyone else. Okay, so I found it on number 5. I thought it was on number 5, but I've noticed now that my tension wrench is pushing back and is not where it was originally, because I've now got the pressure going there where I was just holding it. So I've lost something somewhere. So I would say it's probably at the front and probably number 1 or 2. Okay, there's number 2. Number 4, I think, maybe. Okay, well, it's all eased off now, so I think it was number 3 or 4. So upward pressure, release the tension, nothing happening. Next pin. Okay, so there was I nearly dropped it then. You don't want to get that far because you'll find it. Okay, I've got number 5, another click on that. Maybe I hadn't set that properly, that's why it was dropping. But again, you know, it's all trial and error. This lock is, you know, fairly new to me, so I'm not a master of it by any means. Okay, there's number 1, nice big click. So what I'm going to do now, because things will be starting to drag on, if I can't find anything or if I'm struggling to find it, I'm going to put a bit more tension in this. And you'll find that the actual tension, although you think it may hold them in there, it may actually act as a like some squeeze. So it'll, if you put a little bit of upward pressure underneath the pin, it'll pop the driver out of the hole. So it's worth a try anyway if you're sort of struggling to get any movement, which I now am. Okay, there we go, number 4, nice solid sounding click. It's hard to overset now, especially if you've got the tension on. It's only when you release the tension and pushing upwards that you're going to really find that that happens. That was number 2, nice big solid movement, counter rotation and set. So I'm thinking I'm close now. Okay, number 1, same thing. Number 2 again. I actually think 1 and 2 will be my issues here. Okay, there's 2. Just going to turn into a gem. Try an upward lift number 1 if that's giving me the problem. Okay, 4. Felt a bit of something. You can still feel a bit of counter rotation through the tension if you've got some on. So yeah, I mean, play with the tension. That's the whole thing of it. Right, it was number 3. It was that was holding me up there. Sorry, that took a little bit longer, but obviously I was trying to explain and do everything slowly and etc. And it's not an easy lock. Okay, I do have a key, so it doesn't really matter if I lock it back up. Let's have a look inside this. I'm really interested to see. Okay, we're all in shot, I believe we are. So 1 and 2 are very small, standard stainless steel. 3 is longer, 4 is longer than that. No, it's not, it's shorter than that, apologies. And 5. 6 wants to come out first, which will be the long one. And there's 5. Yeah, we got countermilling. Now let's just hope that they're the old style pins. Yeah, okay. I would have looked a bit of a pillock if they weren't. Would have been a brand new way of picking them, the new one. Like I said, I am not a master of these things, I just like them a lot. And that was just poking above the shear line as well. So it was really hard to get to, but I'll give you a nice look now. Nothing up in the Bible, guys. So I'm just going to leave that there. Okay, so I'll take the zoom off a second. So down the bottom we have all stainless steel. So I'll get out of the light of the window. So yeah, all stainless steel. Nice small ones at the front, longer, smaller, longer, like the keys. And then up the top, Beautiful old style pins, really nasty to pick, especially when coupled with the counter milling. And sort of different sizes, balanced stack, you see. So you've got long drivers at the front in 1 and 2 to correspond to the very short 1 and 2 key pins, so on and so forth, down to the very small number 6 to the very long number 6 key pin. Beautiful, beautiful pinning. And there we go. So number 3, which was the one that finally opened it, doesn't have counter milling. And I will tell you something, guys. I have noticed, let me get this focused up. I have noticed this in more than one of these locks, that number 3 has not been touched. So it may be a little trick by Assa to sort of do, on a 6-pinner, to do every chamber except number 3. Honestly, I'm not kidding. I've seen that a good 4 or 5 times. So yeah. Anyway, so that is the Assa screw-in Mortice cylinder, or rim, as sometimes we call it over here. 6-pin, old-style pins, counter-milled core, plug. Yeah, picked open and hopefully some use to somebody. If there's any questions or anything, or any comments or anything that anybody wants to add to this, I really welcome that. Love to have an open discussion about it. But yeah, okay guys, take it easy, and I'll get on with the GG, and then we'll do part 3 of this, yeah, maybe next week. Cheers guys, take care, be good.